Hi everyone, it's me, Carrie. So, remember how a few days ago I uploaded this video called Bubblilities.wav, which was this old 2010 audio file of Michael voicing Bubble talking about how she loves things and hates things, and I was actually in Season 1, Episode 13. And that's like super vintage, right? Anyway, today the saga continues, because I was sleuthing through the same old hard drive, and I found this file called david.wav. And if you look at the date modified, it's November 24th, 2011. So this is still within the first 2 years of the show, and before the first season ended. And you can see it's 3 minutes long, and I, honest to God, have not listened to it yet. So I did listen to the first 2 seconds just to make sure that it was a workable file. But other than that, I really don't know what's in it. Okay, so let's go to the David BFDI wiki page. Am I gonna learn some long hidden secret information about David that I haven't heard in 11 years? This is gonna be my first reaction to this file. Let's double click and listen. I'm so nervous.
You're probably thinking, there goes that dumb stick figure again. He's so stupid and annoying. And if you thought that, well, you'd be wrong, because I'm not stupid. I guess it never occurred to you that I don't speak the same language as you.
Wait, is this is from the point of view of David. Wait, I'm kind of freaking out. Hold up. Okay, I'm not going to pause it much longer.
In my language, the words "aw seriously" actually have several meanings that you couldn't possibly understand. Okay. Oh, and also, if you thought my name was David, you'd be wrong again.
Wait.
Because my name isn't David.
It's not?
My name is actually a word that you probably can't pronounce, but the reason people think my name is David is because I come from a group of stick figures known as the Davidians.
What?
Now, there are a lot of Davidians.
Wait, I don't remember.
For example, Dora is a Davidian.
Dora,
but she's not my sister, she's my cousin, so get that right.
I didn't even
While
know
some
they were
Davidians
cousins.
look different and weird, most Davidians look exactly the same, so that, other people, they can't tell the difference.
Davidians.
So they just call us all David, as if we're the same person, which we're not, and that's kind of offensive to me, so, yeah. Okay. I hope you realize that my name isn't David. So I hope that helps you understand who I am, that I'm not just a weird stick figure.
Okay.
So anyway, I keep getting asked this same question over and over again. Why is David so fat? I mean, if you compare him to a normal stick figure, he's just
thin.
so obese. I mean, he must have just let himself go. Well, I didn't become fat because I'm lazy, as you probably thought. See, a long, long time ago, or really it was just 1 year ago, but it has to sound cool like that, I used to look exactly like that normal stick figure you had in your mind. I was really thin and stuff.
Well, David is
was really thin.
Like just a single line.
Things changed. So one day, a long time ago, I was playing with my many knives, and I realized that the thinner the blade was, the easier it was to cut stuff, and that was pretty cool, I thought.
That is how knives work.
I then looked at my arm, and I realized that my arm is a line, and a line has no thickness, right?
True.
So it's pretty much infinitely thin. So it's infinitely sharp. But I realized I could cut through anything extremely easily. It was like I was just cutting through air when I'm really cutting through steel or something like that.
Superpower.
That was really cool. And for the rest of that day, I just sliced things up because it was so fun. And then a couple hours later, when I was cutting up a building or something, I'm not really sure, I realized, if my arms are cutting through things so easily, why don't my legs cut through the ground? And then that's when I realized, they do.
Okay.
So I fell into the ground, and that wasn't very fun. Luckily, my head didn't fall through, because my head is a ball, or a sphere. So I'm just sitting here with only my head showing, and I realized that I can't move at all. I'm not sure exactly what to do. I have to be careful not to move my limbs too quickly, or else I'll just slice myself up, and that doesn't sound very fun. So as I'm trying to stay as still as possible, I decide to call for help, because I can't really do anything. I soon realized that all the other Davidians are in the same problem too, so yeah, we're all just kind of stuck.
This is more about David than I've ever known.
So after about 5 days, I think, I realized there's an apple tree right by where I fell. And after enough pounding with my head, some apples fell down, and I ate them, and, well, I kept doing that for months, and eventually I gained enough weight so that my legs were wide enough so that they wouldn't cut through the ground, and then I could stand on the ground for once, instead of just falling right through. And that's why I'm so fat today, because I don't want to fall through the ground and be stuck there, like before. And so that's why I'm so fat. And that pretty much answers that question, I hope.
Okay.
You're probably thinking...
Okay, that was it. Okay, David, first of all, whether you're fat or thin, you're an iconic stick figure at any size, so I hope you're not too hung up on that. But secondly, maybe what I was referring to back then was the fact that David's limbs are, maybe 10 pixels thick, they're not a single line. And then the joke of this whole, story is that, at one point his limbs were literally a line of no thickness, so they actually did slice through the ground. I mean, I'm just like trying to wrap my head around like what the point of this audio file was, because I don't think it ever showed up in an episode. And back then we didn't even do unrelated BFDI shorts either. So I don't know if this was ever intended to be animated, because I do think that like the visual, it would help to understand what David is talking about if you could see a visual of David cutting through the ground and cutting up buildings, right? I don't know, maybe what this is, you know how Dora used to talk like in Spanish and it was like really sped up Google Translate? Maybe at some point we needed to have David have some like really sped up speech. So it was just this, but then sped up. So it just needed to be 3 minutes of anything. So I just decided to fill it up with some story. My big takeaways are, one, I like the word Davidian. I completely forgot that I had ever come up with that word. I always think it's fun in the English language when you add a suffix like Ian, and then it changes the accent of the word. So it's David, but Davidian. Kind of like how you have like Elizabeth, but then Elizabethan. I always think that's fun. So I guess it's the Davidian species. The other thing is just, I do have this vague memory of thinking about how like stick figures, like as a kid, I thought like, oh, if a stick figure, the limbs are really just like single lines, then like when they're standing on the ground, there's zero area of the like legs hitting the ground with still a significant amount of weight. So it should like pierce through the ground because, you know, pressure is force over area. I could see how like me thinking about that, like I was 14 at the time, I guess, I like wanted to turn that into a story of David finding a superpower by slicing through buildings, but then realizing that he should also fall into the ground. Because his head is like a sphere, like it's a ball, so that would not fall through anything.
Very fun. So as I'm trying to say as still as possible, I decided to call for help because I can't really do anything. I assume...
It's just interesting, like, it's also sped up a little bit, like... I think at the time in 2011, I was a big fan of this YouTuber, The Penny Productions, who made a lot of videos that are sort of like the Odd Ones Out and Jane Animations, you know, Storytime animator, but, you know, like 4 years earlier, because these are from like 2011 or something.
Alright, Jim Bob. You'll be working with lazy, and lazy.
Sorry if that was really loud.
Why do we always get paired up with these people? Because it's not like the 20 other kids you could have been paired with share the same drink from some sketchy kid who had swine.
Listen to this banger of an intro that the Penny Productions had.
This is Jim Bob 17, living life just as a teen. Now before he goes to bed, let's hear what's in Jim Bob's head.
It's so good.
Share the same drink from some sketchy kid who had swine flu, causing everyone to be absent.
Swine flu, that really dates this episode, because that was the most recent pandemic in the early 2010s. Yeah, so I remember I was like a fan of this YouTuber. Like I watched all of their videos. So I think, you know, maybe I sped up the audio like by 20% in this one to replicate that. But yeah, there's just so many mysteries. Now the thing is, along with david.wav, there's also part 1 and part 2.m4a. But I think, based on the data I could find, it's just the original raw audio of the same thing.
You're probably thinking, there goes that dumb stick figure again. He's so stupid and annoying.
Yeah, like that's the raw recording before I did the pitch bending. And I think it also is before I cut out takes where I messed up or like awkward silences. I don't think it's anything interesting in these two files, but I will upload david.wav to a Google Drive folder just so that like if you want to listen to it without it being covered up by my own commentary, you can. But yeah, that is david.wav. Like, I learn something new about my characters every day. And I guess this is also a lesson to myself that the test of time really does wash away memories, because I have no recollection of ever recording this. I know at the time I had an iPod Touch. Like, I think it's in my room still, but it's like the iPod Touch I got in 2010, and it's really ancient. And I would record voice memos on it of like myself playing violin to hear how I sounded. But I would also record these like video audio things. Anyway, yeah, so that's david.wav. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching and goodbye.